Hi everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave. I have got a big video for you. I'll put it into chapters so you can easily click through and see the coin you're interested in. I'm going to be looking at 18 different cryptos to answer a question a member of my, subscriber to my Pure Elliott Wave website asked. He's got some money to invest in crypto and he wanted to ask me if I was going to buy some more right now, what would I buy? So I'm going to go through all of the coins I've previously bought, update the charts for my own purposes, and have a look and see which ones I think might be a good opportunity if I were going to buy any more. I'm probably not going to buy any more at the moment. I'm pretty well weighted on crypto, so I think I'm just waiting for the next bull run now. So let's start with Ethereum, and this is going to be a very quick update for each. Okay, so it looks like we might have, I think I'd actually probably want to label 1 and 2 over here. So long as this low remains intact, 1074.4, I think this is still probably a fairly decent opportunity. This is a pretty solid one. The only thing I notice about Ethereum though is its volatility is a little bit lower, so a little bit more stable, more reliable, but possibly a slightly less explosive opportunity for the future. The length of its third waves in relation to its first waves don't tend to be as long as a lot of other cryptos. Still pretty long though, but this third wave was close to 4.236 the length of the first wave. That's actually pretty short for a third wave in crypto. Fifth wave here is close to 1.618 the length of this third wave. Intermediate 3 was 15.32 times the length of its first wave, so still pretty long, but not as long as cryptos can be. I think we're probably still looking at a little pullback for Minute 2, and I'd still probably expect some support down here at the best fit channel. It doesn't have to get that low though, and it might just be sideways. I'd have to look in more detail at the daily chart, the Elliott wave structure, to answer that question. So let's really quickly do that. Okay, so I've got an expanded flat unfolding here. I think B is really long in relation to A. So that does reduce the probability of the flat. Oh, go away, Skype. But I don't know. From this low to this high, this really does look like a pretty good 5-wave structure. So I think I'd just adjust my wave count to see this. It could just go sideways. We could have a double zigzag. No, we can't, because this was a multiple itself. So I think for Ethereum the pullback has to continue lower. Technicals probably hasn't changed since I last looked at it, and I will be doing a more in-depth update of Ethereum this week or next week. I think I've got natural gas to do next for a member, and that was also on my list that you voted on. Volume is declining as price moves sideways and a little bit higher. Yeah, that fits the idea of a correction, a B wave up here. Okay, no, I think my Elliott wave count would remain the same. I'd expect Ethereum to have a bit of a pullback before its next bull run. XRP. This is one of the favorites that I began buying quite a lot. One of my first ones I began buying actually. Okay, found pretty good support about 31 cents moving up. Next resistance 63 cents. What's my weekly wave count for this one? Okay, yeah, that looks good. I've got an overlapping series of 3 first and second waves to start off intermediate wave 1, so I'd expect an increase in upward momentum for that one. That's exactly what's happening so far. It's still really cheap though. I think it's got a long way to go, this one. I think that's actually a pretty good opportunity. I might consider buying a little bit more of this. Every time I look at this chart I want to buy more. Maybe I will. Okay, I've got a monthly wave count for this one. Okay, I'm expecting $30.73 to remain intact, and looks like it might have recently completed a pullback. I'm not sure about this crypto compare data though. It looks a bit dodgy sometimes. I see some pretty good bullish wicks, and here's a nice hammer. Here's a nice doji with a long lower wick. Not very strong bullish patterns, but some evidence that there might be a low in place. Yeah, I last updated my analysis back here, and that's intact. So now we've got another 1, 2, and from this high to this low, this looks like A, B, C. Could be A, B, C or WXY. Either way, it looks like a 3-wave structure complete down there. What about the technicals on the weekly? No bullish candlestick reversal pattern down here. Couple of long lower wicks though. I don't think this wick is long enough for a hammer pattern. a bullish piercing pattern here, and a bullish long lower wick here on the weekly. Support $41.04 holding. What about volume? What's that doing? Volume declining as price moves lower. That's good to see. On balance volume would have a range. You could draw a little resistance line and a support line around this. Look for a breakout for a signal. ADX tells us there's still a downward trend. RSI and did reach oversold down here, not over here. That's okay, there's no divergence there. Money flow neutral, RSI neutral. There's a ways to go before that downward trend would reach extreme. I think that downward trend might be done, and I would be expecting Dash to turn up now. I think that's at a relative low. I think that could also be a good opportunity. Next, Digibyte. I bought this one as a joke, really. Just a really small amount I bought a while ago, which is still doing okay, I think. And I don't care if I lose everything I invested on this. I think I only bought $100 worth. And it's still having this low intact. No bullish candlestick reversal pattern at the weekly chart level. The wave count still looks good. 2 overlapping first and second waves. And now a third overlapping first and second wave. Oh, interesting. Finding support beautifully at the upper edge of this channel. Just checking my data. Yeah, I've got updated data. That looks really good. I think it might find support here, and this second wave correction is really deep. Let me quickly calculate the percentage of that. It's an 83.3% correction of a minor wave 1. I think this is probably at a relative low. I think that also looks like a really good investment. But this one's pretty tricky. I've only bought a little bit, just a little bit. DogeCoin, again, this was a joke. I bought a really small amount just for a punt, just to take a punt. Is it Doge or Dodge? There's no extra D in there, so I presume it's Doge. I don't know, it sounds weird. It's at a relative low too. It isn't finding any steam this week, whereas XRP's on a bit of a ripper today, isn't it? Okay, the wave count still looks good. It's still valid. Third waves do start out slowly, so they can have that curved look. This is absolutely what I'd expect to see for this if the wave count's correct. On the weekly chart, a good strong bullish piercing pattern here, pretty close to a engulfing pattern, but not quite. A strong bullish candlestick here with really good push from volume. The first one off the low has a little bit of push from volume. That's good to see. Support is holding about 5.5 cents, and below that just about 5 cents. As price is falling here, it's doing so overall on declining volume, particularly in most recent days. On balance volume, you could draw a little channel here like this. Wait for a breakout, that'll give you a signal. This is on the weekly chart. I'd be doing that for Doge. There's no clear trend, so price is consolidating. RSI is neutral, money flow is neutral. There was no bullish divergence at the last low, but on the weekly RSI did reach oversold. Yep, I think this is also a really good opportunity, but again, really risky, this one. I've limited what I've purchased to a really small amount. Again, I think I only bought $100 worth of this, just a punt, just to see what happens, have a bit of a laugh. Stellar. Weekly, wave count remains intact. A couple of big first and second waves. It's at a relative low. Technicals, there's a good strong bullish candlestick pattern on the weekly chart at that low. It did not have support from volume though. Volume here, 32.2 million the previous week. 31, it did actually, I take it back, it did have very slight support from volume, and then price moves up and away with push from volume. The last week, incomplete, is starting to show a real increase in volume. I think this one looks pretty good too. On balance volume still has this range I drew last time I looked at it. Let's adjust this. Yeah. I'd be waiting for a breakout. That would give a signal above resistance bullish, below support bearish on the weekly. No clear trend. ADX is at a really low level. It's getting set up to give us a strong signal. No signal, but if it reaches 15 and is rising, that would be a very strong signal. And whichever DX line is above the other at that point in time would tell us what direction the trend is in. So it's getting set up for that, but there's no signal yet. RSI and money flow neutral. RSI reached oversold at the low, no bullish divergence. That supports the view that that low may well be intact. I think that's a pretty good one as well. So I'd consider that one if I were considering buying some more, but I don't know, I'll have a look and see what price I bought this. I might add just a little bit more of that. Litecoin is looking a little bit healthier. I have updated data for this. Support holding just under $80, resistance above 95 and above that 103. Okay, there's a huge bullish engulfing candlestick pattern off this low. Let's see what circumstances that appeared in. Didn't have push from volume. Volume's really dropped off in recent days, hasn't it? In recent weeks, since here, it dropped down, price dropped down on extremely light volume, started to rise with a little bit of push from volume, and now it's rolled over in really weak volume. A complete lack of interest there. I'd read that actually as bullish, because most people they'll do the opposite of what you need to do to actually make money. So if there's very little interest, that may be an indication that prices are relatively low. I think that range for on-balance volume is too weak to give us any reasonable signal. ADX is declining. There's no clear signal or no clear trend at the weekly time frame. It's not yet below 15, but it could be setting up for a strong signal. No signal yet. No clear trend. RSI is neutral. On the weekly, it reached oversold at that last major low. That adds to the idea that it could be sustained. Money flows reached overbought, hasn't exhibited divergence. So may get a little bit of a pullback for this one before it's ready to continue on. But that also looks reasonable. Not as good as those others, but reasonable. Okay, Tron. This crypto compare data this week, beginning 6th of November, has got this price spike. I don't trust that data at all. I think I'd ignore that, and I'd have a look and see if I could overlay that with Yahoo Finance data. It tends to be a bit better than crypto compare. Okay, the wave count remains valid. I was expecting a second wave over here and here, so expecting it to be starting to move up into the middle of a third wave. On the daily, yeah, it's starting to move higher, that's for sure. That's actually looking okay. Let's look at some technicals. On the weekly, I can't see bullish candlestick patterns off these lows. I see a hammer candlestick pattern back here actually, and another one here. So no, I take that back. Some bullish lower wicks here and here. This is a spinning top, so neither bullish nor bearish. Oh, a bullish engulfing pattern here actually. So yes, there are candlestick patterns up off the low. Bullish reversal patterns, that is. Price is moving higher and volume has really fallen off. I would actually be perverse and read that as bullish. On balance volume would have a nice range. You draw your resistance, you draw your support line, you wait for a breakout on the weekly, that'll give you a signal. No signal yet. RSI is neutral, it didn't reach oversold at the low. Money flow is overbought, price is moving higher. Let's expect price to continue higher to resistance at 0.1799, maybe a little bit below that, and then a pullback. ATR is really light. Stochastics is overbought. We may see a pullback for this one, but the Elliott wave count says no, we may not. Let's quickly update this, ignoring that spike. So I'd have this as the start of intermediate wave 3. There will be a pullback, but it might not be for a while. It might be in the early stages of developing new trend. Oh no, a little bit mixed on that one. Cardano. This is my wave count for Cardano on the weekly chart. Still expecting a primary degree second wave was over here. 92% correction of primary 1. Doesn't look that deep, I know, because of the scale. This is a semi-log scale. But it's a 92% correction of primary 1, and now another 1, 2, 1, 2. This best fit channel contains the bear market that lasted over a year, and price broke through, tested support here and here and here, and now is moving up and away. Typical behavior around a trend channel when there's been a trend change. So that looks like there's been a sustained low back down here at 23.9 cents. What about the technicals? So here's the low back on 8th of March 2020. That looks likely to be sustained. And this low here, week beginning 25th of December 2022, also looks likely to be sustained. There's a strong bullish engulfing candlestick pattern off the low. Let's see, volume 143.7 million the previous week, 147. So the bullish engulfing did not have push from volume, but the next week did. Not ideal, but sometimes these cryptos can move slowly off their lows. So price is moving higher and volume is declining. That is a little bit concerning for a bullish case. That can happen sometimes early on in a new trend for a crypto. So volume decline through here, and after an increase here, a little bit of a decline up to here. On balance volume, we could draw a little trend channel or a little support and resistance lines there and wait for a signal. ADX is declining, it's below 15, there's no clear trend at the weekly time frame. RSI did reach oversold at the low, so the close here, 0.4641, and the close here, 0.2456. Price closed lower, RSI is oversold and closed higher. That is bullish. That in conjunction with that strong bullish candlestick pattern and behavior around the trend line, I think Cardano might have a low in place. ATR declining throughout the end of the bear market and essentially flattening off. Now price is starting to move higher. Stochastics neutral. I think this one looks actually pretty good too. Prices are still relatively low. It's under 40 cents today, so I think that one looks pretty good too. I'll give that 2 ticks. Moving on to the next one. The question for Theta Fuel, is this low in December 2022? Is that going to be sustained? How low is this current movement going to go? This is my weekly wave count for Theta Fuel. It's pretty simple, a 5 up here, a 3 down, possibly over here. Let's pull a channel in here and see how prices behaved around a channel. Well, you could draw it like this. Yeah, I think that's more conservative. So I'd say the channel that contains this bear market has not been breached. That puts some doubt on the labeling of cycle wave 2 over here. On the weekly, here is the low of December 2022. There's no bullish candlestick reversal pattern and no push from volume up off that low. On balance volume would have given a bullish signal here and here, but that could be resolved. Here to the low in December, ADX reached very extreme for the low, for the downward trend, declined and then reached very extreme for this upward trend here. It's down now at a relatively low level for Theta Fuel, still could go lower. So it's not set up to give us a strong signal. The close here, 0.034507, and the close here, 0.031. Price is closing lower. RSI deeply oversold is closing slightly higher, so there's a little bit of bullish divergence there. RSI currently neutral and currently no clear trend. Money flow also oversold at that low. And ATR declining up off that low. That can happen early in a stage for a new trend, but it also is pretty common during a bearish trend. There's decent support here, about 40 cents, which price is just hitting now, but I'm not confident enough that this low is sustainable. I would put a question mark over that one. My wave count for Monero sees from its inception back down here a 5-wave structure up to the high in 2018, a huge bear market over in March 2020, a 95% correction, and now another one too. Let's have a look at proportion. Cycle 2 I have lasting 112 weeks, primary 2 57 weeks, decent enough proportion. So cycle 3 underway, my target 5,285. The question is primary wave 2 over? Let's put a channel around it. Nope, a conservatively drawn channel is not properly breached. On this low down here, we see no bullish candlestick reversal pattern. And this low back down here, in March 2020, no bullish reversal pattern. How extreme did conditions get? RSI just reached oversold here and then exhibits strong bullish divergence at that low. ADX did not indicate an extreme downward trend in March 2020. On balance volume would have given bullish signals. We've got this huge volume spike that's ruining the data though. And volume is up off the latest low, declined as price moved higher, and now is increasing as price moved lower. I'm sorry guys for the noise of the fan. It's just so hot here today. I have to have the fan on if I'm able to focus on this work, so a little bit of background noise. I did put a sock on it though, so hopefully that'll help. So volume is bearish for XMR, for Monero. That volume profile does not look good for a bullish case. And money flow neutral and declining. Did money flow reach oversold in December 2022? No. I'm not convinced that this one has found its low, and I'm really suspicious of this price spike for the week beginning 3rd of October. There's something in there that's wrong from Crypto Compare. But I don't have confidence in this low being intact for Monero. I'd want to see this trend channel breached before. I think it might be a 50-50 situation there, so that's not one I would consider. Nano, my wave count expects the low in November 2022 to be sustained, a primary first and second wave, an intermediate first and second wave, and an enormous, absolutely enormous bullish candlestick up off that low with a strong hammer candlestick at the low. Moving average situation, I haven't done moving averages on my other charts, have I? I need to put those in. We've got a death cross here with the 50-day crossing below the 200, so that's rather bearish. Overall a bearish look, and prices below all. On the weekly, this is an absolutely huge bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. These three make a morning star reversal pattern as well, and the bullish candlestick has strong push from volume. That's very bullish. On balance volume, you could draw a resistance line here and a support line here and wait for a breakout to give a signal. ADX is declining, there's no clear trend. The previous downward trend wasn't even indicated by ADX, so it was just down here toward the end and then again down here. And now the upward trend was indicated as well, now it's declining. ATR declining. Overall for Nano, the strength of this bullish candlestick pattern does lead me to suspect that there could very well be a sustained low down in November 2022. I would rather have seen ADX extreme and RSI reach oversold at the low, but overall I think there's a better than 50-50 chance for this one. VeChain. My Elliott wave analysis for this sees an impulse over up here for a first wave and a correction for a double zigzag over down here for primary 2. So my analysis is expecting that the low in December 2022 is going to remain intact. March 2020, so this low here, December 2022, what did volume look like on the weekly? There was a little bit of a push from volume, that's really good to see, and a little bit of a strength up off that low. We saw it though back here in July 2022, and yet price continued lower. So what are our other indicators saying? On balance volume is at resistance, no signal today. ADX did not reach extreme for the downward trend. RSI did not reach oversold for the downward trend. Looks like there is a little bit of bullish divergence, so the close here 0.021689 and the close here 0.015784. So price is closing lower, but RSI is a little bit higher, but it didn't reach oversold. I am not convinced for this one either. It remains in a bear channel, and I don't have enough technical evidence to have real confidence that this low is going to remain intact. It could be breached. EOS, my wave count sees a cycle degree first wave over here and a cycle degree second wave over down here is a double combination. No, a double flat. W is a flat, X and Y is a flat. Doesn't look like a double flat should though. It's got a downward slope. Okay, well that's a little bit of a problem. Technicals. So this low at 82 cents, the low on is 82 cents, week beginning 12th of July, or 12th of June, week beginning 6th of November, 80 cents, a little bit lower, and here, 82 cents again. So there's strong support in that 80 to 82 cent range. There's a bullish piercing pattern here, there's no bullish reversal pattern here. This could be a bullish engulfing pattern, but it's very small. Currently, there is no clear trend. ADX is too low, it's below 15. At the low, the recent low back here in June, ADX was indicating a downward trend. It only just reached into extreme territory, a long way to go before it could get as extreme as it could get. RSI's reached oversold just though. No bullish divergence. Has RSI reached oversold previously? No, that's the first time in the price history for EOS that RSI reached oversold. So I'd read that it's pretty bullish. Actually, what's the close here? 89 cents. And then the close here, 86 cents. There is actually bullish divergence. Price is closed lower here, but RSI is substantially higher. Stochastics neutral, ATR declining, normal at the end of a trend and the start of a new one. And the volume profile, pushing price higher up off the last low and then declining for the last rise and declining as price falls. I'd call that volume profile bullish. I think there is a little bit of technical evidence with RSI getting oversold and exhibiting bullish divergence, and ADS did indicate a downward trend was extreme, so I'd give that a better than 50-50 chance that that low is going to be sustained. So I'll give that one tick. Cosmos. My Elliott wave count sees a first wave over up here, a second wave expanded flat over down here, A, B, C. So this wave count expects this low here in June 2022 to be sustained. It was followed by an absolutely huge bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. Let's see how much strength that low in June last year had. So support below $5.58 and $8.58, resistance above $16.79. The bullish candlestick pattern did have push from volume. That is impressive to see for a cryptocurrency. In what circumstances did that pattern unfold? No signal from on-balance volume, beautiful range here. Draw your trend lines around this one and look for a breakout for a signal. At the low, the close here, $6.0827. No bullish divergence. That's okay. RSI reached oversold. And ADX did indicate the downward trend with it. Only just became extreme just after the low. So again, I think given the strength of that bullish candlestick pattern, I think there's a better than 50-50 chance that this low for Cosmos is going to be sustained. Finally, Solana. This was I haven't updated my wave count for a while. Bless you. Another strong bullish candlestick pattern. So is this low in December last year, is this going to be sustained? I would have to reanalyze cycle wave 2. Let's quickly see how deep it is in relation to cycle 1. A 97% correction. That is an absolutely huge crash, a massive bear market. And how long did it last? 60 weeks, over a year. Okay, well that could be over. Let's see. This bullish candlestick pattern does have push from volume. 4.3 billion on this week. The previous week, 2.8. Yes, really impressive to see. Volume pushing price higher off that low. Seen that before though, and yet downward movement continued. We also see a volume spike at the low, so that's also, well, just before the low, lining up with the expectation that that low could be sustained. Again, draw your resistance and support lines around on-balance volume. It's got a nice little range there. ADX is currently indicating no clear trend. At that previous downward trend, it hadn't caught up with the trend change from the prior very, very extreme upward trend. Wow, this one can get, ADX can get above 67. That's very extreme. So not an extreme trend at the low. RSI did not reach oversold. RSI didn't reach oversold. The close here on this week, 13.0922, and the close here, 9.96. No bullish divergence at the low. Money flow does exhibit bullish divergence, however. The close here, $9.96, and the close here, $35.26. Quite strong bullish divergence. That adds confidence to the view that that low could be sustained. Stochastics currently neutral. I think for this one, the probability that that low is going to be sustained is better than 50-50. Quite a reasonable bit better. That's it. I've had enough. That's all I can manage. I'm not going to do, what am I missing? Tezos and Shiba Inu. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't have very good data, and I haven't got full Elliott wave counts for those two either. So that's it from me with an update. My picks from this were Digibyte, XRP definitely, Dash quite likely, DogeCoin looks pretty good, but again that's high risk. Stellar looks pretty good, again high risk. Cardano looks really good. Atom looks okay, EOS looks okay, and Nano looks okay. Those are my picks. That's it from me with an update of the cryptocurrencies that I'm holding, and if I might be investing some more, I will let my membership know in comments underneath their last Bitcoin post, which I publish for them every Monday. Thank you so much everybody for your support, and I hope this helps my member out.